Many bands who are just starting their careers don't get paid much, if at all, for their live performances. This is an issue because not only does it take time, it also requires a financial investment to play shows with your band. Some of the expenses include advertising, gear, gas money, and other travel expenses. But did you know that there are actually different payment structures for artists, and which one is used can affect how much you as an artist get paid for your performance? Hey everyone, my name is James and this is the Better Band Bureau. Now there are two main types of payment structures, but how they can be used and the combination of those uses actually brings about four types of deals. The easiest and simplest payment structure is a flat guarantee. The artist, under a flat guarantee, will be promised a certain amount of money, and as long as they perform, they will be given that amount of money no matter what. The show could do really well and sell out, or it could be a total flop, but the artist gets paid the same amount no matter what. This is really beneficial for artists if they don't sell well, but benefits the venue if the show does sell well, because otherwise the artist could have earned more on our next type of deal, which is a split deal. A split deal, or a door split, is where the artist takes a certain percentage of gross receipts, which is the money taken in on ticket sales. However, the artist only gets their percentage after expenses are met. Some examples of expenses include catering or buyouts, production staff, towels, anything that is related to putting the show on can be listed as a show cost. But things that would not be show costs are, for example, the venue's costs of running their bar. That's not something related to the performance, that's related to the venue. Typically, anything on an artist's hospitality rider will also be deducted as a show cost. One example would be an artist who gets a split deal of 80% after expenses. So let's say their expenses are $300, and after $300 worth of tickets sold, any amount over that, the artist will get 80%. Just to make it easy, let's say that they sold $1,300 in tickets. That means the artist would walk away with $800 because $1,300 minus $300 is $1,000. And the venue would get $200. Now, you might be saying, well, the venue actually gets $500. And yes, while that's true, $300 of that $500 is expenses which the venue had to cover to put on the show. They're assuming the risk, and therefore they cover the expenses. That gets paid back before the artist gets their cut of the tickets. There are also two more advanced deal models, but they aren't typically seen until an artist reaches larger venues as a headliner. The first of these two is the Versus deal, which essentially offers the artist a flat guarantee, but also a door split. Now, which one does the artist get? It depends on which one is more. The artist will always receive the flat guarantee, but if they sell well enough that they would have done better with a split deal, then the split comes into effect instead of the guarantee. At the end of the night, the split is calculated, and then whichever one is higher, the guarantee or the proceeds from the split will be paid to the artist. For example, if an artist gets a guarantee of $1,500 versus 80% after expenses of $300, the artist would have to sell $2,175 in tickets or more to make it worth it with the split deal. So, if the artist sold $3,000 in tickets, they would be making a lot more money. In fact, after deducting the $300 in expenses from a $3,000 gross receipt, that leaves $2,700, 80% of which is $2,160. That's $660 more than the artist's original guarantee. So here you can see why a Versus deal is really beneficial. If the artist doesn't sell well, they still get their guarantee. If they do very well, they make more. So obviously this is a great deal for the artist, but could hurt the venue if things don't go well and the show doesn't sell. The fourth and final type of deal is called a plus deal. It's similar to a Versus deal, but has a few key differences, and frequently is the best for major artists. A plus deal offers a guarantee plus a door split. Now, to avoid paying twice on the same amount, the guarantee is written off as a show cost. So then the artist only gets the door split after all expenses, including their guarantee, have already been covered. No matter what, they get the guarantee, but if they do better than the expenses, including that guarantee, then they get paid extra. Now, I know that might be a little confusing, but I'm going to go over it in just a second. If we were to use the same example as above, where the guarantee is $1,500 and the show costs are $300, that would actually amount to $1,800 in show costs when you add the guarantee in. Then, with ticket sales of $3,000, the artist would get their door split on the $1,200 difference between the show costs, including the guarantee, and the gross receipts. 80% of the $1,200 that are left over is $960. This comes out to a grand total of $2,460 to the artist on total sales of only $3,000. That's a really great rate for the artist. And the venue still walks away with $540 in profit for that night, after their expenses were covered. And that's just from tickets. If the venue also sells food, beer, other types of alcohol, anything like that, they're also making money on those items. So to wrap things up, which deal you get as an artist when you're booking your tour can greatly affect how much income you get. Now, this video might be a little advanced if you're used to not getting paid, but when you do start getting paid, watch out for this. See what deals are on the table. Chances are, early on, you'll be getting simple door splits or small guarantees. But if you can work in a versus deal or even a plus deal, that would be ideal for your career because it's guaranteed money without a cap unless you sell out the show. In which case, you're still making as much as you possibly can with that deal. But you have to keep in mind that sometimes what's a better deal on paper doesn't actually help you unless you know you can sell well. For example, plus deals in the real world seem great, but often carry a lower guarantee than a versus deal. The key here is that if you know you can sell well, a plus deal is amazing because it will let you take a larger percentage of the gross receipts, factored in as your guarantee plus the percentage after costs are covered. Just to recap, we have the flat guarantee where you get whatever money you were promised and it doesn't change. If you were promised $200, as long as you play the show, you get $200. Then we have the door split where you get a percentage of whatever ticket revenue the venue gets after costs are covered. The versus deal compares the guarantee and the door split, and whichever one is better for the artist, that's what you get paid. While the plus deal is a guarantee plus door split after expenses, where the guarantee is listed as one of the show expenses. I hope that all makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please drop a comment below. This stuff is really interesting to me, and I've always loved touring. I've toured with a few different organizations and learned from several different people about how this world works. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you about touring. And if you want more videos about live production, touring, tour management, tour budgeting, anything like that, please let me know. I can definitely make more videos in this vein. One last thing, if you go sign up for my mailing list, you can get some free tips on how to network so you can get better at booking shows for your band. I think this is really important, and it's something that everyone should know about and be able to do well. So just go down to the description below, sign up for my mailing list, and you can get started with becoming a networking pro. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you next week.